Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I'm going to tell you what is good business in around 10 minutes. This video I created as my final project for the final exam of this semester, English and Business courses, my lecturer Mr. Teguh Prasetyo. But before we get too far, let me introduce myself. My name is Hasya Raisa. I am from Economic Faculty, Malang State University, majoring in Management. Enjoy this video. Oh yeah, I forget one more thing about this one. This is my microphone to make my voice louder and clear. Business has rarely been so unpopular, and capitalism is in serious disrepute. A lot of people are convinced that businesses as they're structured today, so simply don't properly serve our best collective's interests. Yet a world without business seems scarcely realistic. The challenge isn't to do away with business, it's to feel our way towards a better version. And so, here are 5 things that are necessary for decent human and profitable business culture. The first one is make money from needs, not desire. We know that as a human being, there are things we need and there are good and important for our flourishing. And there are things we merely desire that appeal our appetites, but they are not connected up with anything sincere or worthwhile. The problem is we are not good at identifying and holding onto the distinction, and you know that we are not very good at knowing what's really good for us. This has created a great temptation for capitalism. For the standard capitalist, it doesn't matter much what you make your money from. It could be needs or desires. You could be selling crude oil, handguns, nanotechnology, or collective works of Tolstoy. And this is the classic defense for selling bullshit. Sorry to saying that, but this is the truth. Capitalism has not traditionally been interested in the source of its profits. The idea is to make money from supplying whatever people happen to be willing to pay for. But capitalism becomes evil when it explodes in our inability to distinguish our need from our desires. When large number of businesses sell people stuff that they desire, which in all honesty they don't need. So, as a first basic point, good business should be defined not simply by whether they profitable or not, but by what they make their profit from. They're only business that satisfy our needs and moral. The second point is work twice as hard as the competition. It's hard to make any business work. It's doubly hard to make it work when you're trying not only to make money, but also make it from needs rather than desires. Strip clubs make more money than bookshops. Status-driven luxury brands are more successful than fair trade cooperatives. It's harder to make things which are both appealing and good, because the enterprise needs to solve two big problems rather than just one. The good producer has to master both goodness and seduction. Lots of people have mastered seduction. Think of a fair number of people that mastered goodness. But there are very few that people master both arts, seduction and goodness. It's not the goodness makes seduction impossible, or the seduction rules out the goodness. It's only about the target is smaller and far harder to hit. But that's what we need to aim for the great challenge of our age to make goodness, not just its own rewards, but also deeply appealing to many to fuse goodness and seduction. The third point is good business should be meaningful. What we want above our work and money aside that be meaningful. So, what is meaningful work? Meaningful job is any occupation which give you a feeling that you in some way through your labor either reducing suffering or increasing the level of others that you are leaving the world a slightly better place when you found it. The more meaningful job, the less money matters. People will be ready to enlist in the army and die for the defense of their nation for a very low salary. Or think of the sacrifices made by nurses or people at the literary end of publishing. Motivations come from serving a noble cause. So, good business are those who reward their employees not just with cash, but also with that equally valuable currency meaning. The fourth thing is good capitalists, they realize they don't want money. Many people at the top of capitalism, they already have enough money to feed 12 generations, and yet still they push for high returns, 30% per annum rather than 3, which would be enough to keep ahead of inflation. The important thing to grasp is that thought of this captain of business what to make money. Deep down, if they understood themselves better, they would realize they're not in it for the sake of the money. What they really want is to respect the honor and love that comes in our society for having known to have made lots of money. This holds out an important clue on how we should reform society by making honor and respect more reliably available for those capitalists who choose to run their business in novel ways to satisfying needs, not desire, and giving meaning to their workforces the way status is currently distributed directly rewards the worst kinds of capitalism. It dired honor to wealth without asking skeptically enough on how the wealth was accumulated. That's something we are all responsible for when we pay undue attention to the yacht and parties. How impressed we are by money is part of what keeps business. The people who are generally narcissistic ego driven personalities going. People become more capitalist when they can accept a lower return on capital in the name of producing meaning, kindness, and goodness. And we become a moral society when we give honor and respect, not just for those who've made a lot of cash any old and how cash maker doing good things. The fifth thing is externalities and just price. Typically, the price of the product or a service doesn't actually take into account the full cost of producing it because some resources have inadvertently been given free to the producers. The land has been polluted and the workers' health destroyed, but the consumer is not paying for that. We talk a lot about low prices, but we don't talk enough about just prices. A just price is the price that is correctly factored in the true cost of production. In a good society, just price must be a normal price. Whenever the suppliers provide something below the just price, whenever there is, as we wrongly call it, a bargain, a shortcut is being taken somewhere. The company have to be offloading some of the cost. They must treating someone badly. They must be skimping quality, or without admitting it. A society gets collectively more moral. We should take immense care about the path any product took on its way to our life. In a good business, the price of the product should reflect a cost of supplying a thing, while treating everyone and everything, even the trees in the river, kindly along the way. Besides the 5 important things before, I would like to add one more thing, is make money from higher needs. 18% of business should be in a perfect world come from the top 20% of our needs. At present, the overwhelming share business activity is directed at meeting the lower basic needs. Moving about energy, food, shelter, a present, capitalism is mainly directed. We understand you have higher needs for love, self-esteem, creativity, and so on. But we don't usually imagine that commerce can help us. We've got a prejudice that paying for something can't be connected to goodness. But it could be the fact is, commerce has barely scratched the list of our true needs. We need to live in beautiful cities. We need to have a good advice and psychological support. We need to manage our emotions. We need to sustain strong families across generations. We need to cultivate our minds. We need to live in societies which in it's normal to be wise, kind, and self-possessed. These are vast, immense undertakings, and we have collectively a huge way to go. The fact that these ambitions don't look the same as constructing highways or building pipelines doesn't that all means that they differ from work, business, or commerce. They're goods and services which have to be created by ingenuity, organizational effort, in short by work. Far from worrying about what we might do when there is no more work, we should be preparing ourselves for almost endless labor to reach the true goals. Widespread fulfillment. It's entirely understandable that many people are disillusioned with capitalism because business are currently we know it's not as good as it should be. Our objection is not in fact to business as such, but to business that's bad. The response is not therefore to wish that business would go away, but to work to improve it, so that one day it comes properly satisfy us as consumers and as producers. So, they were what is good business. I'm sorry and I'm really sorry for any mistakes that I made, maybe from my speech or another one. I hope you enjoy this video and understand what I'm saying. I hope this video is useful too for you. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.